Thank you for watching the 8490 podcast, where we speak from the experiments only. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Money I chase, yeah. Count it up, 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 yeah. 2 times, I'm getting paid.
Thank you for joining the 8490 podcast, where we speak from experience only. I'm your host, Dwayne Smith, and this is our self-made edition, where we invite local entrepreneurs over and they tell us how they made their path unto financial freedom. And today we have none other than our guest today. I can't even say a guest, it's more like a brother, close friend of mine, known him for years, one of my day ones, the owner of Bring It to Life clothing line. He's going to walk us through how he made his way. So I would like to introduce my brother, Ryan McQueen.
Appreciate you.
And so if you can just briefly tell us a little bit about, the name of your company,
Right.
what you do and everything before we get into the actual interview portion of it.
All right. Right. The name of the company is Designs by Bring It to Life. It's a couple ways you can look at it, bro. You can look at it from a standpoint of being like, just from a motivational standpoint, like, making the most out of life, making the most out of your opportunities, not being hesitant, going after, what it is that you want. And you have the element of bringing it to life as far as just like, just being the, I don't want to say like the aggressor or whatever your dreams are, making something out of nothing. That's how I think, to me, that kind of is the best way to look at it, is like just making something out of nothing. I think we all kind of start with a blank canvas.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And in both our life and careers as well, or whatever you're trying to do with your life. So.
Yeah, it's definitely needed and required for most of us,
right.
With our background, being what it is sometimes. So I'm wondering, what made you want to become a self-made or an entrepreneur, just personally?
Me personally,
you down that path?
I bro, ever since I was a kid, man, I mean a kid, like a real kid. My grandfather, I'm from a small town called Sanford, Florida, just outside Orlando. I'm from a small town. So back in those days, my grandfather lived around the corner. I used to always see my grandfather cutting grass. I would always see it like other people's grass. I would see him building houses in the neighborhood with his bare hands. I would see him, and this is William McQueen, man, that I'm speaking about, my grandfather. I saw him play saxophones. I saw him come through the block in different whips, different cars. He had them all, vans. He paid cash for them all. Watched him crush cans, like I said.
Renaissance man.
Just was I think for me, seeing him do all of that, I never really saw him have a boss. I think, like, I always see him in his own element. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with having a boss, because even in certain aspects of having a job, I hear a lot of people but I think you also are your own boss at your job, because you are in control of that person who's coming to work, and you're in control of not just that position that you're in, but you should be thinking down the line. So all your moves should kind of be strategic. And I saw that about my grandfather as well as my father. My father used to go around and draw different, go to companies and get the name of the companies and come home and just draw up random ads, like art ads, whatever. And I would see him, he had a whole portfolio, big.
He would pitch it to them?
Pitch it and all, man. I was like 6, 5. And then my cousins were in
visionary.
Yeah, and my cousins were talent shows. My aunts were seamstresses. They used to make all the clothes for their different shows. So for me, I always tell people I was bred into it. So it ain't about the bread. It's about, like, it's who I am in a way. Everything. I think the business side of it is almost getting money part in the business side is almost kind of like a bittersweet thing, because I would do it for free. Depending on the circumstance and the situation, and it's all love. So
I always say that, it's when you truly have a passion for something that you'll do for free.
Right.
Normally, all the the money and the accolades and everything
Right.
come later. Yeah, no
Right.
doubt. So you had a good background. Sounds like your whole entire family.
Right.
We're all visionaries. So it was you were blessed to be in that environment.
Facts.
How did you get started in the clothing industry? Because I started it. I tried it once with a partner of mine. It was unsuccessful. This was a long
Right.
time ago. So how did you actually get started in the industry? Like this day one, you had this idea, this thought.
Right.
Walk us through the process for those who are interested in joining the industry.
For me, it was, I think, in our culture, right, in the urban culture, I think we all want to go to school fresh on the first day. Right? We all want the new J's. We might not have been able to afford them, but
you don't even want to show up to school the first day.
Right. So I think that's just a part of our culture because we're blessed, as a people to just have that spice. It's just that's why it's bring it to life. That it is so important is because it's whatever your it is. And for me, growing up, that was something. But I think watching my cousins perform in those talent shows and watching them back in the day, and anybody that know me from the city that really, really, really know me, this is a funny moment. It ain't really funny, but it's funny. You can laugh at it. It's cool. Anybody can, but anybody from the city that really know me, they know I used to go home. My cousins would have talent shows. My aunt would make all the outfits. Back then, it was like New Edition, Bobby Brown, MC Hammers.
Yeah.
You had your gangster music, whatever, but my aunt used to make a lot of the outfits like that. And I used to come back to the Tampa. I had, I was in the 3rd grade. I had the pants and the shoes, the high top with the red dye, the eyelashes, and my name in my head. On top of that, a lot of my mother had 15 brothers and sisters too. So my mother being like the baby, the youngest girl, I had a lot of cousins that was already teenagers when I was 6 and 7. So they was already schooling me the LL Cool J and the radio and the hip hop and the fashion and all of that. So they was bringing me in at a real early age. For me, I think I was born into it as far as that. I think what got me with what you're saying was the music. When I was dabbling in music, I was going around being in New York, different states, whatever. And a lot of cats, this one cat, one time he just told me, he was like, I would always get beats that nobody wanted. That not that the beats was whack. I just used to always come from a different space because I feel like this artist gonna come this way. They gonna come this way. I want something that's like this. And a DJ one day, he was like, boy, you bring these beats to life. And that was years ago, like 06. And when he said it, I was like, it kind of stuck with you. And then from there, I came home and I look at it like, with the clothing, it's 2 ways you want to go about it. You want a brand and you want clothing, right? So you got your brand and then you got your clothing. I do a little bit of both. Initially, I started with the branding though. I was just pushing that whole bring it to life. I was getting my logos. I was getting my I was getting my vision together because I think that's important.
Yeah.
Make sure with Nipsey with the marathon is a fact, but rest in peace to Nip. But I always say too, you gotta kind of know where you want to go. You gotta kind of see the finish line, so that way you know what direction you're heading in. Like you don't necessarily. It's cool to jump out there, but then you're going to eventually run into them situations where you like, all right, well, what's taxes? Oh, I was supposed to. Oh, I ain't even. Because you ain't do the research.
Crazy. And that's
you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy you say that because that's a good segue. I was on the ask. That's what happened to us. What would you say is a typical startup cost? And I know that can vary depending on what you want to do in marketing and branding, but for the youth who's looking into getting into starting a clothing line, what would be just the cookie cutter starter cost to create a clothing line? Either the branding or the
right. Bro, that's a tough one to answer. And that's a good. When they tough questions to answer, it's a really good question. And the only reason, and you kind of spoke on it already when it's like what you kind of want to
do with it,
right? Because
so what would you say a startup?
Let's talk about. I can tell you specifically about myself, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's 8490 podcast.
Right.
Experience only, baby.
There we go. What I did. I used to sit down and draw a lot. Shout out to if my boy ever catch this, Saif. And my boy Saeed Fadeen Bushra and my boy Herbert Snelling, man, we was in elementary school in the 3rd grade in Robles Elementary in New Seal. And we used to just draw sneakers all day. We would have like people doing it now. I'd be like, bro, who's doing that 3rd grade?
Yeah.
But
whole portfolio and shit.
Yeah. We was doing all the sneaker drawing and stuff back then. I would say, bro, definitely when it comes to that element, that's a touchy one because with podcasts and Instagram and social media, so many people have so many stories to tell.
It's different.
But you always have people who it's almost like hey man, remember the college dude? You just sitting on your couch, you ain't doing nothing. Get up.
Yeah, it might be.
But you never know why somebody's sitting on the right.
Yeah.
But I say with that, for me myself, I went and I got my imagery together. Thank God I had some great people that was on my team with me. They were on my team with me initially for years.
It's expensive. I always say it's expensive not to have connections.
These were my partners.
That's my point. Yeah.
Right. So these were my partners. They I mean, that's a different story. I ain't never mad at growth, because especially if I had something to do with it. So I'm never mad at that. I appreciate them for what they did for me. But I would say the first thing you would want to do is build your team. Build you a team. If it's the most important thing I could tell anybody.
And what would that team consist of?
That team would consist of, all right, we can get down to business one-on-one with this if it was like that. We had the time, because I would tell somebody, yo, sit down and seriously get out of the mindset of thinking that corporate America is so much different than anything else. You look at Walmart, some of these major corporations, they ain't no different in the street.
No, yeah, it's the same hierarchy.
Frank and Lucas, high up, exactly, top to bottom. People showed you that.
Yeah.
If you eliminate that and just start thinking, what areas do businesses have? And then you look at your day-to-day life and say, man, McDonald's hit me with 1 million commercials every day. Or these people slam me with this. Then all right, well, I need some type of marketing. Or I need, okay, well, how much marketing I'm trying to do? And then you can budget it, and then you can have, okay, well, I got inventory. I probably need an accountant. You know what I mean? I might need a manager, because you know what? Not before you actually, this is very important. Floyd Mayweather is one of the richest, most successful businessmen, boxer. He's a boxer. He don't run Floyd. He don't run TMT. He run it and he own it. But Leonard Ellaby is the CEO. Right. So you might have you might be the image. He's the face, but he don't run the business. Yeah. So some people got to stop thinking because they got a business idea that they need to run the business. You go find somebody that know how to run a business. Lady Eloise from Boomerang. Right. Right.
I was going to ask though, and this is something people always talk about with clothing lines. There's this ongoing debate. Is it more of the marketing or the quality of the clothing? Because I've seen some clothing that's like, it ain't really all that, but the marketing is so gangster that it gets all this notoriety. So is it actually the quality of the clothes, or if you just got crazy marketing? You know, like which one would you say is more important? Because the actual designs and things like that is subjective, but the marketing is not. Right. You know, like you said, McDonald's, they just throwing it down your throat.
Right. But then there's some days where McDonald's tastes like, it tastes like roof crisp because you're so hungry.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know it ain't no comparison, but you be so hungry.
Nobody expects greatness going through a McDonald's drive, but you're gonna depend on how hungry you is. Right. It's gonna take, but at least you know what you're getting. Right. Exactly. You know. Right. I always wondered that. And I wanted to ask someone would you? So what would you think? Is it more marketing or 60-40?
Bro, you know the truth. I would say marketing, and the only reason I could say that is because it's power in numbers, and marketing is all about numbers and how your reach. So if you can reach the masses, this person might have a great idea, or a great product, but only got it in front of 5, 10, 15, 100 people, or some people in this local area. This person right here, matter of fact, I'll give you a perfect example of it, right? The story about the guy, the guy that does the food testing on IG, and it was a family who was struggling to keep their business open. He went and did a review of their food and found out it was bomb. And ever since he went, they lit lines around the corner. That's crazy. But before he did that, them people were driving by your restaurant.
And that's just pure marketing. And that's just pure marketing. They got sponsored by the right person.
Right, the right person. And that's really all they take it. I mean, but then to say that also says that you got to get up and go find that person. Who is that person for you to do that for you? And that's going to take business because they're not going to do it for free. So I would say marketing, because you can have a great product. It's a lot of great products don't
nobody know about it.
They just getting slammed. They get hammered by the big dogs. The big dogs got you, in the corner.
Would you say someone can start under, say, $5,000?
Oh, for sure. I tell somebody right now. You get with Brother Wayne. My brother Wayne, get with me. I'll show you how to do it with $30. I'll show you how to do it with $30. And you get $30. You come see, if you need graphics, come see me. Because
while we at it, where can they find you at?
At Designs by BITL. Mm-hmm. Designs by BITL. That's on Instagram.
So we're gonna add that all in the bio below, so you guys can have communication.
Yeah, come see me.
Definitely.
You need graphics, and then it also depends on exactly what you're trying to do. Because bro, he making a really good point that a lot of people probably not really picking up on, but separating there's the branding element and then there's the clothing line element, right? So some people try to get 2 for 1, and I think sometimes it could be a gift and a curse, like say like a Sean John or a Rockaware or anybody that put they brand on their clothing line. I would recommend you not do that. I would recommend if you're gonna if you're gonna do merch for your brand. That's what I do. A lot of times I tell people, like, I'm not really getting into fashion until I'm cutting and I'm actually going to the fact, which I'm in the mode of that right now, because all my shirts on my site $20, maybe $30 depending on if it's a sweater or a hoodie or how much. If I had to go and do the back, $20-$30, but that's because I have this access to the same vendors that everybody else use. Your Abercrombies or your American Eagles or your Nikes or whoever.
So how does that work? Because
that's what I'm saying. We can get the business one-on-one now.
Let's talk about it, because you're the aficionado. Yeah. You just lost me.
Yeah, I got you.
And I get it.
Run it back.
You're the guru.
Run it back.
So let's digress a little. So how do you get products? So you say your t-shirts, $20-$30, and I've seen them. They dope. How does someone starting up, where do they even go to look for product?
Depending on what they want to do.
So let's say they just want to be, I'm 19, I'm in college, I'm trying to make some money for these books. I don't got no scholarship. I'm just trying to get some passive income on my Instagram and my merch posted. Where would I go to get product? Do you buy t-shirts in bulk? Do you send them out to get printed to a designer? Because back in my day, we actually bought the damn press machine and we didn't even know how to use it. So stuff like that. Because now I'm assuming you can send it somewhere. How does that work?
You ain't even got to send it nowhere. Now, it's places that provide everything. One-stop shops.
Man.
And you can get everything you need. The problem is getting people to get people into your store, online. I always looked at it from
the traffic. Getting people.
Yeah, okay. Which is marketing. You want to spend how much money? Which is like, I tell people all the time, it's a lot of, we don't have a lot of time, but it's a lot of knowledge into this go into this, right? And what I mean by that is when I say that kind of time, I'm talking about going into it from a standpoint of being like, you talking about vendors, and then you talk about, at a time you probably heard this name, drop ship. Then you got people who do their own stuff out of their house, and then they might throw some on IG, and you see them with all this inventory, and they got 100. They stuffing their own packages. They running them all down they doing all of that to avoid a cost that they don't want to pay another company to do it. I'm not going that route. I apologize if somebody don't agree with it. That's cool. Do not agree with it. But
so they cutting out the middleman.
I'm doing business all the time.
Okay.
I ain't trying to. I heard somebody say this the other day on an interview on IG. I can't remember, but he was like, don't cut corners, right? What I mean is this. What I mean. Businesses, and no matter what business it is, business is designed for you to have a business. I got a business, right? So we do business together.
Whenever that dollar move,
that dollar got to circulate. The dollar not gonna circulate if you trying to shortstop it with you,
right?
Because at that point now, I'm like, oh well, I can't eat with you,
and you
crush
their relationships.
Not want to crush you. And but what I mean by that is. I've always been in the game of doing big things. Like I think what business goes wrong is you have too many people trying to recreate the wheel and they oversaturate the game. That's why in Design by Bringing to Life specifically, you're gonna make more out of, you make something out of nothing or more out of something less. Meaning, if everything don't have to be recreated. I mean, not some things can, but then some things could just need to be evolved, just elevated a little bit.
Follow the blueprint.
Just step it up a little bit. Instead of having people always trying to find the next, like, what's the next? That's where a lot of people fail. You could follow this person directly what they did and get right the way they went, as long as you did. So for me, it's powers and numbers, but a lot of people don't see it like that. Some people want to shortstop that dollar. They want to be the only person. They want to make they want to make all the money, which eventually, to me, is the downfall of most companies. Is when you're making all the money and ain't nobody else is eating, then everybody else turn around and try to figure out a way to come in and get a piece of your steak. You know,
being greedy, basically.
Well, they gonna cut those you any way they want to, any way they can. If you selling your shirts for 20, I'm gonna find out a way to sell mine for 15. Now y'all taking money out of both of y'all pockets because you're so busy trying to, instead of just getting together, figuring out a way to, hey, let's put two heads together, maybe we can make it better, and we can create a way to, I could run some of my people through you, run some of my people through you. You know what I mean? In that way. But
what would you say are some of the potential pitfalls? You know, you start a clothing company, things going good. You know, you got your first sale. You know, but what are those unforeseen that people don't tell you about?
Overhead. That's why I tell a lot of people I do no overhead.
For folks starting off, what's overhead? You know, break it down for us.
Again, like, you know, when you want to have all the product in house, and it's sitting there taking up space, and you looking at it, and it's not gonna move unless you move. And again, that's back to me saying I'm not calling it a shortcut, but I'm calling it if you could have somebody deliver this package for you, your business would look that much more certified. You could try to, a lot of people in my opinion feel like it's cool to look like a mom and pop, like it's cool all the time to look like I'm doing it entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So just because you're doing it as an entrepreneur, don't sell it to me like that.
I mean, it's successful. Yeah.
Well, don't sell it to me like that.
I heard somebody had a chick at work. She ordered some shirts for like a birthday, something anniversary, and they didn't have a delivery. It's crazy you say that. They had like a drop. People have these little drop lockers in these crazy areas, so they'll sell you something online, and then they give you a combination to like this drop lock,
and you got to go get it from them.
They don't ship it to you. You don't go to their house. You just go to some random.
I ain't buying nothing.
Some random ass.
I ain't buying nothing.
Locker in the middle of nowhere. They give the kid and they change the lock once you get your product out.
I ain't buying nothing.
Like you said, it's cutting costs, but I remember her at work. She was complaining about it, because she was like, I was nervous. It was like this dark, you know, in the alley, but it was dark, and she had to go get her shirts.
I ain't doing that.
I'm sure they cut costs, but from a customer standpoint,
for sure they cut costs. But you put your customers in danger and all.
She's not gonna use it again.
She
thought it would have been shipped, and
So it just depends.
It worked out for the company because they lowered costs for that. Now she's not. She told people about the company, but in a bad way. You know, like the lady who bought the shirts. You know what I'm saying? So she got bad publicity.
I was nervous going in to pick it up. I had to make sure I had my mace.
So she played herself in the long run.
It's fun, but I think that's it to me. Like I said, I mean, overhead to me is the biggest one, bro. Outside of overhead, I think a lot like diving in, jumping too head first into your business. Like a lot of people be trying to make people jump out on faith like that. No, man, listen. You want to do the right thing. Make sure your business is properly. The foundation is laid first. That's before you. I mean, it's cool. If you got to think about this for a second, at least to me, if you got to jump out on faith, that means you haven't properly prepared.
Right.
You understand? So that means whatever comes as a result of the lack of preparation, you got to accept that. Right. Outside of that, I'm not moving like that. I'm going to do my research. I might start off it's funny.
And we want to accept that in no facets of our life.
Not at all.
If you get surgery, you don't want your doctor stepping out on faith. You don't want your dentist stepping out on. You don't want your barber stepping out on faith. You don't want to fresh out of barber college.
Bro, that was the funny thing. No, you don't want the doctor. Well, I might cut.
You don't want your pilot. You don't want your pilot stepping out on faith.
The pilot. Right. Hey man, how much experience you got?
It's my first flight, bro.
I just say I ain't even apply for the application. I ain't even apply for the app. I just snuck on the plane and I'm finna fly out. Yeah.
So walk us through this. How does one? I mean, obviously you sell product, but how do you generate income? Like broken down into the minute details of. A lot of it's online now, I would imagine. So are you setting up PayPal accounts? How does that work? When someone buys your product, how does it go to you?
Look at it like this, right? It's set up. It's companies that have this thing set up for you so perfect. They do everything for you. All you got to do is sign into your account and look at your numbers and your analytics.
Greenlight is one of them.
Yeah, all you got to do is sign in, look at your analytics, how many people came through, your demographics, where it was at. If you got any sales over here? I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say don't have any overhead, but I would have overhead. It'll be extremely light. Some people want it right now, so you definitely might want to keep a couple on deck just for those right now people. But I'm trying to push people to, I don't want to. How do you say this? I want to move how a company moves. I want you to go buy my product the same way you'll go buy Walmart product or Amazon product. You'll go right on Amazon.com and order. I mean, I might not be able to get it to you tomorrow. You know what I mean? But go online and support, because it's important, because it's a lot of people. I get it with scammers and all of that, but that you take a chance with any online product that you buy,
no matter what.
Right. Yeah. So for me, I got my online store. My store is online. You just go to my website and you can surf and go through each page. And I got a cart and I got all the stuff that everybody else have. Right. I have the same thing at a very low cost. And at that point, it's just about just driving people to my shop, and that's it.
Do you order based off? We're in Florida, but you get orders from everywhere. Do you order your product based off like the weather? I always wondered that. Like if you bought, Florida winters are, you might buy a bunch of hoodies, make designs for them, then you're sitting on them because it was a warm winter.
Well, you're right. The fashion industry do it too, right? Because they'll have spring collection and summer collection, and they have these different collections. That's really what it boiled down to also as well. Like, but it also boils down to the vendors that you use and what type of merch or what type of products or they allow you to have. You got a lot of them. Some of these places are literal one-stop shops. And when I say that, I mean it. I'm not even talking about like your Alibabas and all of that. That's different. But you can get a page and mix all of that in. Ain't nobody telling you got to have an online store just selling your stuff. This is why I tell people that, right?
So you can create a plaza online. Pretty much.
This one, I wish I could like drop something down here in the bottom that was like game to be sold, not to be told.
Shit, we can do it. We can edit this however you want it.
Nah, only reason I'm saying that is because some of this stuff, people, I don't want to say you should be charged for. I done taught a lot of people this, but you should, because it's that. Yeah, it's because it's so simple, right?
Yeah.
But when you asked the question about the vendors and all of that, and you asked a couple good questions. You asked about how do I make the money, and then the downfall, and we talked about the overhead costs and all of that, right? All right, it's ways to eliminate all of that. All you really have to pay for is your designs, and that's it. Once you get a great artist, somebody that know how to design, that I think also it's important that you might need more than just an artist. Because there's a lot of people that can use illustrators and all of this, but they can't give you what you're looking for. So you got to know how to sketch. You might not know how to sketch. Go find somebody that know how to sketch if you can't sketch, right? And that way somebody could put it down like me. I'll be the first to tell people I know how to use illustrators and Photoshops and there's different other tools that you could use to manipulate and make it. Fly material, fly merch. Yeah, but I would say I draw it up and then I send it to my mans, and then we go through a week of back and forth. Like this, switch that. Hold on, send it back. Here, send it back. Like this, hold on. Oh, he might. I think you should do this. That's why I always say, two brains is better than one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get you a team of people, that way you can bounce them ideas and bounce that off of people, but But the overhead thing is for, like I'm saying, $30. They'll give you access to all different vendors through their channels.
Mm.
And I'm not
Kind of
talking
like what's the website? Fiverr.
like a Fiverr, but see,
Like a Fiverr.
right? Fiverr got right because you can
They do the
somebody
web
can do your
design,
exactly.
commercial business cards,
Exactly.
and then they just a bunch of vendors hit you. Okay.
Exactly.
Damn, I didn't even know it was like that.
But they have it where now you can do that, and it's a little bit better than Fiverr because Fiverr just throw a bunch of vendors at you that's charging you their own rates.
Right.
These companies are already locked in with these people.
Oh, they're certified.
Already, you don't got nothing to do with it. They just there for your, and I'm talking about Walmart, Amazon. You could be, your product could be on right, and this is why I tell people it's two ways to look at that. Because if you somebody, and this is why my people, we go crazy. We always want to do designer. We want to be in Gucci. All right. So imagine what type of product you gotta have to be in. So you trying to shoot for this. That's cool, but now you got to go find the fabric and the material. Meaning you got to have a connect somebody over in Pakistan or India or somewhere, Indonesia, where all this crazy fabric come from. Outside of that, you're not finna find that fabric just floating around in the States unless you really tapped in. But I would say if I put my merch anywhere, this is how I feel as far as my merch, the way I handle my business, the way it looks, the way I present it, the way I do my stuff. If I put my merch in any local store in my area, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. But I'll be using them other brands to make my brand look like it's already up there with theirs. You understand what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody know when you walk in these stores now, unless it say Nike or Adidas or Puma, because you don't know who. Right. And that's going into any store, Snipes or any store that sell urban wear now. If it's not a Balmain or something like that, you see it up on there, you like, man, who is this? Because now, and this is why I was saying this a little earlier, the industry's so oversaturated because now so many, it's just like anything else. Yeah. Some get hot, everybody jump in, it get oversaturated. But you know what happens with that? Is you start seeing the real ones, the cream rises to the crop. Right. So the real ones, people like myself, I fall back, and let all y'all keep throwing this trash out. Just wait. And I wait, and then I let you keep throwing the trash out. While you sitting doing that, I'm sitting back like, all right, I'm gonna drop this in like a month. This one I'm gonna hold on to and keep working on. Keep reminding them. Right. Just keep little stuff, subtle stuff, subtle stuff, because everybody don't know, man. It's a lot. It's a lot of people on the internet with a million likes and ain't selling nothing. Yeah. And then there's some people that got 10 likes that's moving all over the world, global, and you don't even got a clue because you moving thinking, in silence. Because you're not really. Yeah. Because you're so thinking that's what it is, but it's not, because all Instagram is doing is using you for $1. Truthfully, that's what it's turned into. Like when you got a business account, now you got to buy ads. I just found out about bots. My management. We use them for sneakers. That's what they. I didn't even know. I just they use them for shoes and all, bro. That's crazy. Yeah. Let me ask you this, just from a homeboy's perspective, because I know what it was like for me when I started up and doing all my different vendors and approaches in life. What was it like for you? Just that day when you made your first $1, and I know you had a lot of different hustles. I know you for a long time from the clothing industry. What was it like when you made your first $1? Like just the excitement you felt seeing your dream come to fruition. The truth is, I think the same way I felt when I make $1 a day. But I'm gonna tell you how that feeling feel. I would say it's fulfilling, man. It's just a feeling. It's just it's a fulfillment. It's like to me that's the most important word in the world. Yeah. In the dictionary is fulfillment. So like I just feel like when you that sense of it ain't, I don't even know it. It's the feeling of knowing and executing the knowing. And then before it happened. So, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then when it happened, it's almost like call it. I told y'all it make you you like Mario with a mushroom. You're like right, level up. It's like you say, you get $1. If you can make $1, you can make $5. You can make $5. You can make $10, and so on and so on. So once you make that first one, why you can't make? If you just sold one, like I done had them days when I done had a bag when I was doing my overhead thing, and shout out to big man Miss Michelle, because Miss Michelle and turned me on and to what he was doing, her son, and then he enlightened me, and then that's how I got put on.
I'm saying the common thing with you is relationships. And
yeah, for sure.
You paying it forward
for sure, bro.
You paying homage, and I respect. I'm big on that. Homage. But that's a respectable thing you're doing, and I'm glad just for the podcast sake that people are seeing you do so. That's a lost art. Paying forward what you thinking the people
always,
because it's an art to that shit, bro.
Because I think people don't realize, a lot of people might not even realize, bro. Like we all here together. So everything that it ain't no way around how somebody do somewhere don't affect some else, right? So something can happen in California that might affect what happened to people where we at down here, in Florida, But yeah, for sure, man. Because I know I wouldn't have made it here, or I wouldn't have got to this point, or had this knowledge, or this even if I don't make $1, which that ain't true. But even if I never made $1, I'd be able to give this game to somebody. I could give it to my son, one of my sons, and they could turn it into a $20 million situation.
That's the ultimate goal, right there.
Yeah. So
and the imagery of it. Yeah. That's what I like most about. Yeah. My son seeing what I'm doing. It's second nature to him. He don't even think it's special.
Right.
He's just like, oh, Dad just he sell houses, he do this, he do that. That's what we do. And the big deal to him. He like, yeah, I can do that. He don't even want to. He like, that's mine.
He's thinking about something bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
He's thinking about something bigger. And that's why it's funny. My homeboy, when I posted something on IG with my son, he was shooting a shot on the goal. And my homeboy hit me on IG and my DM, and he was like, bro, he shoot better than you. And I was like, he's supposed to.
He's supposed to. Bro, I want my ceiling to be my son's floor.
All right then, bro. That's look. Don't take that for granted.
He's supposed to.
When you come up with stuff like that, or if you came up with that, I don't know where you got it from. But when you come up with stuff like that, write it down. Yeah, but write it down, bro.
It's here. Yeah, I want that. I want him to go way further.
Right.
Because it's that's what it's about.
Great way to express that. That's a great expression, man.
My next question was for you because I got a couple of my young homies when I told them you was coming on. They was like, yeah, man, ask them this, ask them, do you need an LLC? Do you need?
You don't need nothing.
Listen. I told him, I said, I don't think so, but let me look. So you hear it live. Do you need an LLC?
Look. Let's keep this all the way since we on the 8490, right?
Talk to him.
And you have everybody. Knowledge is power, right? So I would say, do you need anything? No, you don't. It's a lot of, unless you're trying to think about it, if you're not getting on the scale of a major corporation to where you bringing in that kind of money, ain't nobody really tapping in with you to see what kind of money you making. So,
because I remember getting it out the trunk.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Now, if you're thinking about at some point, want to go get small business loans,
storing them all,
doing all of that stuff. Yeah. Absolutely. If you're thinking about, and I would recommend on that note, go get you a professional to handle that. Look into it because there's different types of registrations for your business. You could register in your state. Then you have international. Then you have national. So there's different ways about your business and what type of business you're trying to start. You might not want to start an LLC. You might want to start something else. So you need look into that. But I would always recommend first, like we talked about earlier, don't cut them corners, man. If go to LegalZoom.com. That's a plug. LegalZoom. If you do see this, we do need. We will.
I started advertising. I started doing it myself though. Yeah. LegalZoom. They'll charge you.
They'll hit you too. They're not.
They'll charge you $650 for what you can do yourself for like $170, $180. It's a little longer process,
right? But it's always good with that.
But they do provide the legal.
That's what I was about to say. It's always good to have that. Look,
they do provide that.
90% of the entertainment business, and I know this is different, something else, but 90% of matter of fact, I'm gonna take all that back. I'm gonna just say all business, in my opinion, is handled by attorneys. So you at some
On some
point,
level. On
at some
level.
point,
Yeah.
you're gonna need that lawyer. Go get that lawyer now. Go find that right lawyer if you can. I ain't telling you that you have to. Start your business, start slow. I'm not saying you need to go run and do that. But it's a lot of people who became a lot more successful because they had certain relationships built with attorneys, and the attorneys had certain relationships built with people that were inside this industry, and they get you there quicker. That's how you get. That's how 90% of your rappers and people like that get to where they at. You know what I'm saying? It's all lawyers behind the scenes who work for the labels, who and they negotiating your 360 deal. That's how you ended up with it.
Over some drinks at the golf course.
Yeah, got you thinking this. Yeah, hey, just sign right here, man. You know your lawyer. You looking at you think your lawyer on your side. You know that man ain't on your side. That's why I say find you the right lawyer. Also do your own research and stuff. But I would recommend, because when it comes to the taxes and stuff, it come in handy too. They definitely come in handy.
That's crazy, bro. It's like, the next question I'm asking. How does taxes work with the?
Well,
you filing independent. How does that work?
The taxes is going to work pretty much the same way. It's going to work based on, your company, what type of company. Not only that, it's going to depend on what type of, how you, goods and services, whatever however you trying to do it. But
because if you don't have the LLC, it's probably behoove you not to in the beginning.
And then on top of that, bro, to be honest, I don't even want to say be honest, because that's not a be honest thing. But it all depends on how much money you even generate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not really generating no money, or $100,
do you think
it ain't worth it.
You think people starting off, because I had a business partner of mine back in the day. His idea was to buy t-shirts cheap, put this crazy price on them for a $120 t-shirt, because everybody gonna think it's fancy because of the price. Or do you think it's better to nickel and dime it?
It depends on what your budget is. What your budget is. This what I would tell somebody. Before I would buy a shirt from you for $10 that I know once I wash it one time it's gonna go to shred, I would tell you, go save you $100, buy you a $50 shirt, pay you somebody of if not a $50 shirt, because none of this stuff costs anything. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the major corporations, it don't cost them nothing to make this. Just like the Nikes, it don't cost them nothing to make it. But it's different once it get to us. Now we gotta figure out how to. So a lot of people do that. But I would say, man, go buy get into one-on-ones first. Don't try to do the big high volume shirts and hats and all that. Maybe you might want to start with a one-on-one. Go that way. It's quality. The quality is good.
What's a one-on-one?
A one-on-one is like you make one. You only got one or two. Well, one-on-one is only one item.
Like that's you got one t-shirt, one design.
Yeah, your boot. Yeah. Go get you one t-shirt. Go buy the one that costs. Hey man, it's a $50 t-shirt, and then take that other $50 and use that to work on how you gonna design it, and then go try to sell it for $150. $175. Somebody will buy that from you before they give you $10 for some trash. I'm just keeping it honest with you. Yeah. Because at that point, I feel like you disrespecting your brand. You know what I mean? And that's why I tell a lot of people, it's not always good to just jump out on faith. It's not, because it's cool, but sometimes it's not good because you can hurt your brand. It's like
it looks good in the movies.
Yeah, think about what had happened to Jordan if one of his shoes ended up in Target.
Right.
If one Jordan got sold in Target, bro, as far as like they was on the shelf.
Shaq tried it.
Shaq
and Elijah Wan.
It ain't gonna make it in Nike. Because Nike say, bro, we can't have that in here because you sold that over there.
Yeah.
So certain people do that. I'm not saying don't go out there and get money with those people. But that's why you see even a LeBron or a Nike have LeBron got the $300 shoe. And he got the $90 shoe. So wherever you fall in that,
you in there.
That's the shoe you need to go get.
Middle class, upper class.
Right. Or unless you got patience to say, I don't need these, I don't want those. I'm gonna wait for the ones that I want. And I'm gonna wait 3 months, stack my bread and go get them $300 LeBrons. You know what I mean? And that's what separate, to me, the good from the great. You know what I'm saying?
What would you, and we can wrap up. I'm wondering, what would be your advice? Just whatever you think someone up and coming that wants to do what you do. Let's say they're from a similar background, because the purpose of this segment, the self-made interviews or the 8490 podcast, and I'll be honest, I'm unapologetic about it. I'm trying to teach the young Black youth how to get it, because it's facts. It's different for us. It's just different for us. And I don't even want to get into all that right now. What would your advice be to 21-year-old Rob that has aspirations of their own clothing line? They have minimum opportunities. They might get a few dollars. What would your advice be to them? For the up and coming dream chasers.
I'm gonna tell you like this, young. I'm gonna tell you how I told my son. My son's 24. For those who might not believe that, but I always I find a way to financially support your dream. Don't put all your trust and your hope in your dreams, right? Because I think also something that's really important is make sure that that's what you want to do. Don't think it can't be something that you will change your mind on if it don't work out.
Can't because it's cool, it's trendy, it's something that you really, like you said, something you can do and not get paid for.
Right, exactly. And the reason that's why I say too, because before me and bro actually started doing the recording, I was like, this is a big kind of topic, because you have with it's where entrepreneurs is anti-job in a way, in a sense, right? Or anti-work for somebody, kind of sort of, right? Think about this. You start working somewhere when you're 16 years old. You know what you know. You got where you want to be in life, as far as say you want to do the brand and clothing merch thing. That's what you want to do. You start working somewhere before you graduate high school. You just got a little job there. But let's just say you stay there. It could be anywhere: 7-Eleven, Wendy's, McDonald's, whatever. By the time you get ready to graduate high school, you've been there a couple of years, you got some experience. Now you got to really start to look at your experience and what you got and where it could take you next, because you could actually, and I use McDonald's or whatever because it's a lot of places that's not going to let you in yet. When you turn 18, you might get into a company somewhere that might start you off with a wage, a certain number. Now, depending on your skills and your qualifications or whatever, you never know where you might be if you stay at that place in 5 years. You might end up further with this place than you would if you went this route, right?
And you can still work on your dream.
That's what I'm trying to say. A lot of people shade the job or shade the employment over here. That's
my route.
That's my route.
And
that's what I do.
You know me.
I make good money.
Yeah.
I make good money. I bring home a nice wage. Listen, I bring home a wage nice enough to look at my dream, what I'm doing for my dream, and be like, man, like I could really, if I wanted to go hard, I could really go overdrive. But it ain't now. I'm way more like, I'm at a point where every time I make a move, it's a power move instead of me sometimes taking little steps that don't really.
It's measured twice, cut once.
Exactly.
You got a better approach. It's a better swing if you can do it knowing you're good to go. You got backing, because it is different. It is different when you got kids and stuff like that. Not everybody can just drop and quit their job, and it's
Some people don't want. Some people wouldn't like coming into your setup. That's why when we can ready start, I was like, it's a production.
Yeah.
Right? The content and everything. But I was saying some people don't want to come in your. They'll be intimidated by your setup, if you already set up and you already kind of even like this your beginning setup. This ain't your think about your setup.
It's the first episode. It's the first episode.
Your setup a year from now might be
history.
Facts. Your setup a year from now might be top floor somewhere. Audience, I can't believe it.
And I'm transparent about it too. So just because I want to get a game. For the record, we're in one of my bedrooms in my house right now.
Still sharp though.
Yeah, I want people to know that, because what I don't want, because I know this was one of my ailments coming up. I look like, damn man, they got this and that. We're in the house, we're not in the studio. I legit made one of my guest rooms studio, and I bought all this stuff. I'm gonna post a whole video about that, but I'm making one of my dreams come true. and I'm joining forces. So I'm augmenting somebody else's business, making one of my dreams come true, and I'm giving back. And it's simple. That's my main message. I don't want nobody to look at me like I'm special or that I'm this, hell of a nigga. And nothing. This is so simple. You can do this in your apartment. You got a 2-bedroom. You don't need that guest room. Make your guest room a studio for you. If you want to have a podcast.
Make your car. Make your
whatever.
car. Make your car. Whatever
Man.
you gotta make it.
You can go rent a storage unit. You can do anything.
That's a fact, because understand, I'm commending my
That's
boy.
True.
Because,
that's true.
Because, like I was saying, a lot of he already, to me, this some people finished product. That's why I was going to say a minute ago. Some people don't want to walk into this environment. When you say, man, it's my first, you go to talking about something, they expect to come and they be like, man, hold on, you ain't supposed to have this vision already.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody don't have it. They might have walked in not thinking you was gonna have cameras and everything and different.
Me, you know how I think. It's already happened. I'm just
but it's
I'm already there.
It's a lot of people. Like I'm saying, bro, jump out.
Yeah,
and they jump out, and I ain't knocking them because I want everybody to know that. So I'm not knocking what anybody do at all, but I'm one of the first people to tell somebody all the time, like, look, man, just do it right.
Aim first.
I mean, why would you want to do it wrong? Yeah. Think about it. Why would if you love this that much, if you love what you do that much, right? You're gonna treat it right.
You want to walk up to a girl you want it and just
slap her.
Yeah, you're gonna prep. You're gonna make sure the words.
Like, come on,
you're gonna make sure the words. Yeah.
Right,
so your message is measure twice, cut once. Make sure it's commendable to jump out on faith.
Patience.
You can jump out on faith and keep them checks coming in at the same time.
Patience, man. Look,
especially if you got kids.
That's the point of building your team. A lot of people think they can do everything on their own and they can't. So get you a team, even if you got to pay for that team. Start to find out, because you can go to these colleges around here and find some kids who taking these courses in school, and you can pay them $100 a week.
They just want the experience. They want it on their portfolio.
They might see your vision and what you got going and be like, hey man, I really like this. I want to be a part of this. And now you got your team. So it's about finding you a team of people, finding you the skilled people, whether it's overseas, wherever, or whether it's in this, in your community. Find those people. You got social media, find those people. Find out what it is that you need, see what you can afford. You got to afford it. You gotta have a budget. And there's no business without a budget. There's no business without finances. So the first thing I would tell you, youngin, if you're trying to get you something started, is to get you some finances. And I would say to get you some finances, go and get you a gig. And when you get this gig, don't look at this gig or let nobody else tell you why you jobbing this, that, and the third, because you know that gig is only there to support and push you forward in something else that you're doing. Keep that to yourself, because that ain't even for nobody else to know. And then, you know what I mean? See that same person 5 years later and see where they at. Yeah,
you got to rock to the beat of your own drum. Fuck what everybody thinking and doing. You got your plan, stick with it. Once it comes to fruition, then you can look back and, like you said, see where everybody else lands. It's not about them.
Don't want what somebody else got.
It's your own thing.
Right, because what's meant for somebody else not meant for you. So if you see somebody else doing anything, don't look at them and hate them, and don't look at them and be like, man, he just got that because. Go and get some game. I'm the first. I'm gonna tell you, like, I'm a sponge. I'm gonna go. Like Nip said,
most people are. Most people are.
Nip said, you ain't got to tell me nothing. I'm going to steal it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So say it around me loud enough so I can hear you. And I'm going to be saying, hold on, bro. Be quiet. What you talking about?
Yeah. My goal for this podcast is for dudes not to have an excuse.
Right.
So you can look back and, you can rewind. You don't got to take notes. You can press pause. And this, all the game is right here. We're going to do this in all different facets and fields. So we're going to close. I'm going to... Thank you for coming.
Appreciate you for having me.
You got any closing word for the audience, people?
No, just tune in to the podcast, 8490 Podcast. Man, Dwayne, he gonna bring you some good substance down there everybody need. Because I don't really think if we don't have no substance, I don't really even think
what's the purpose?
It'll make it. There we go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Can finish the sentence for me. So, yeah, man, y'all tune in and get blessed. You know what I mean? And join the movement. That's pretty much it, brother. Thank you
All right.
again.
And I want to say I'm honored to have you as I like to give flowers, man. People while they can still smell them. I've always loved what you're doing, how you move.
Appreciate it.
Family man,
too,
and I've gleaned from you. I see what you do. I've learned from you.
Likewise.
You're a mentor of mine. You're a homeboy.
Likewise.
We laugh, we argue, we kick it, all that. It needs to be like that.
Real brothers.
Yeah.
Real brothers.
We don't get along all the time. All that.
Sometimes, hey, to the youngin', man,
you gotta have that.
You gotta cross paths sometimes with your partners. That mean,
yeah,
y'all might be going in two separate directions, doing y'all own thing, but y'all cross paths, and it's all love. Don't always think you gotta hold your homeboy to some type of standard where he can't be out trying to follow his dream because your dream ain't going how you wanted to go. If that's the case, y'all need to all link up and follow the homeboy who got something going for himself and let him be the one, and, to take everybody to the top. You know what I'm saying? Look at your Nellies and all your, since y'all like to look at music so much, there was always a group, but that group always had the one person that was the talented, that was at the forefront, whether it was your Method Mans who did it for the Wu-Tang or, you could, however you want to look at it, right? Get behind that man, support that man, and let that person take you to the top, man. And then everybody else just, everybody can't eat.
Everybody win.
Everybody win.
Yep.
Everybody want to be in the front doing the 5 heartbeats.
Yeah. All right, Joe. Everybody, Flash.
Right.
Everybody want to be Flash.
Right. Everybody want
Eddie Kane.
Eddie Kane.
Right. Yeah. Everybody can be Eddie Kane. Right. So we gonna close out. Thank you for watching the 8490 podcast. As promised, where we speak from experience only. First ever episode, self-made edition. Look forward to new episodes.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Money I chase, yeah. Count it up. Count it up, 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 count it up. Yeah. 2 times. I'm getting paper.
Hello, my name is Dwayne Smith, and I'd like to thank you for watching the 8490 podcast, where we speak from experience only. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And be on the lookout for upcoming episodes. Thank you.